Hello everyone and welcome to Skype Academy presents Skype for Business on Mac Client. Today with this readiness session, we're going to go through and look at the new Skype for Business on Mac Client, look at the user experience, the different screens within the client itself. We're going to go into some details about the underlying technology that was used to create this client. We're going to go into a feature breakdown to show you what features are there and what features are released in the latest cumulative update. And then we'll go into some more of the technical details under the hood, the signaling and media, the Autodiscover, and finish up with a troubleshooting session specific to the Skype for Business on Mac client. So about me, my name is Richard Schwendeman. I am a senior program manager on the CXD team. And within our team, our responsibility is to enhance the customer and partner experience by taking your feedback and getting that feedback incorporated into the product to make it a great experience for everyone, and with the latest features and the latest fixes for certain issues that we might find along the way. We do this to enable your organization to have the best experience within the client itself. So a little training disclaimer. All the features and functionality in this presentation are subject to change. So we're constantly iterating on new features and new fixes within the client itself. So it's very hard for the training to stay updated as quickly as the product is being updated. So what we're going to focus on is for any major changes going forward, like a cumulative update or a major functionality change, we're going to update this recording specific to whatever has changed. And within that, we'll also couple that with a blog entry at the aka.ms link under for most recent information to give you details about the updates that we've done to this readiness session. So the agenda for today, we'll talk a little bit first about the training itself, what it is not, what we're going to try to focus on within the session itself. Then we'll jump into the client. We will meet the Skype for Business on Mac client, look at the UX, look at the experience, and then we'll get into a feature breakdown, features that are new to the Skype for Business on Mac client, features that are in the RTM release, and then features that were just updated in the latest cumulative update. Then we'll get into the more technical aspect of the client itself. So we'll look under the hood. We'll look at Autodiscover. We'll look at signaling and media, and we'll go into some details about those and the technologies that the Skype for Business on Mac client is written on top of. And then lastly, we'll go into some troubleshooting information that is specific to the Skype for Business on Mac client. So first, about this training. It's a level 200 training. It's an overview of the Skype for Business on Mac client. So what this is not a very deep technical 300, 400 level session that we're going to dive into logs and look for specific issues that we're seeing. We have some other trainings that go deeper into log analysis and things like edge media negotiation. So we're going to focus specifically on the client itself. The Skype for Business on Mac experience. So this client has been rewritten from the ground up. They discussed early on about whether or not we wanted to just enhance upon the link for Mac 2011 client, or we wanted to just create a new client, take the extra time to build the most modern experience and the modern feature set that we have in Skype for Business. And that's what the decision was made to do, was to build a new client from the ground up and include this modern experience that you're seeing in the client today. This client was written by the Stockholm team, which is the same team that wrote the iOS client for mobile devices. This team really knows Mac. They know Apple in general. They've written previous products, including the iOS client on uh, the Apple programming languages. So they really know how the uh, client is supposed to behave within the Apple operating systems. This client specifically is based off of UCMP and UCWA, so it's very similar technology as our mobile clients used. There are some differentialities between the two, between how the Skype for Business on Mac client and the mobile clients behave on top of this technology, which we'll go into more detail, but the underlying technology is the same. So first, it's really a first-class experience now. It's a modern client that was rewritten from the ground up. We took a modern approach to Mac using the Swift 2.1 programming language. The one requirement to this client is that we have Mac OS El Capitan or later. So El Capitan or Sierra, which was just recently released, both of those operating systems will be supported within the Skype for Business on Mac client. And lastly, as described previously, it shares the same stack as our mobile clients, iOS and Android. We have the latest media stacks within this Skype for Business on Mac client. We have H.264 for the video codec with the advanced video compression and the lower bit rates. We have the Silk audio codec supporting efficient bandwidth management. So these are the latest media stacks that we are running within this client. And lastly, it's really a very simple approach to the client. When you see the client or if you've used it previously, you'll notice that everything is just very modern and simple, which is the best way for users to be able to focus on what they're doing and to use the client most efficiently. So you'll notice that things like edge-to-edge screen use for video calls and sharing. So one of the major complaints that we hear from our users is that we don't use up enough real estate when we're sharing video or we're in a presentation within a Skype for Business meeting. So you'll see in some of the upcoming slides that we really took that and made it a high emphasis on this product, and you'll see that we take up a lot of screen real estate and we use it optimally now. The one-click meeting join for scheduled meetings. This is a very big ask for Link for Mac users coming from the previous client because they had to go into Outlook and open the meeting and join the meeting that way. Now we have right within the client where you see your meetings and you just have a one button click to be able to join those meetings and launch the Skype for Business on Mac client. And then lastly, it supports multiple window modes. So we have single window mode, which is similar to kind of the tabbed window mode, and then we have multi-window where each conversation or each meeting is broken out into a separate meeting, or within a separate window. There are some caveats to this. In order to have a single window mode and that tabbed experience, you have to have a server-side conversation history configured and working properly. It does require SSCH, so that does require Skype for Business, Skype for Business Server 2015, or Skype for Business server in the cloud. So first, we're gonna look at some of the highlights from the user experience. So this first slide is of the single window mode or the tabbed mode. So this is our new and improved single window design experience in the Skype for Business on Mac client. Our Link for Mac 2011 users really voiced their opinion, as I stated before, on having each conversation within a single window, and that's the experience that they want. There were still some organizations and customers that said, we don't want that option of the single window, or we want the option to be able to choose. And we did take that to heart and give customers the option. But this is the default view, the single window. And this keeps all your conversations in the middle pane, which is the conversation pane when we're selected on chats. And then to the right-hand side, you'll see the actual conversation itself when you click on that specific conversation that you're looking for. So the next slide here is the multi-window experience. So if you don't have server-side conversation history, or you go up into preferences and check the option to be able to split conversations into separate windows, this is the view that you will see. This is not the default view. The default view is, again, is the single window from the previous slide, which is on when you install the client, and in order to switch to this mode, you have to go to preferences and actually select that checkbox to switch it to this mode. So this basically, what this does is it breaks off the right-hand pane of the chat window or of a meeting to be an entirely separate window. Similar to the way that the Lync for Mac 2011 client did its chats and meetings. This slide is the built-in calendar and meeting join tab. So if you click on meetings on the left-hand side, within the middle pane, you see your schedule. So you see today and tomorrow separated, and then you also see within each meeting on the left-hand side, you see a bar, and that bar indicates whether or not this is a Skype for Business meeting, online meeting that you can actually join with one click. So you'll notice on this specific client, the first two on today, the sync with Miguel and the review prep working time, are Skype for Business online meetings. And the one right below that, lunch with Sean, is actually not an online meeting. It's just an appointment that was scheduled. In the right-hand side of this pane, you'll notice that you have all your meeting details. So you have the title of the meeting, you have your single click join if that is available, and then you have the notes of the meeting. And then on the bottom of the right-hand side, you have you can click the join the meeting if the single click join button is not available. And then you can also view the dial-in and conference information there also. So here is the in-meeting experience within the Skype for Business on Mac client. And specifically, this is the group video calling view, where we will show 4 active video streams and then your own video stream down on the bottom right of that window. Now, this is equivalent to when you think of the Windows client, the standing row and the sitting row. So you have up top are technically the standing row, the active most active videos, and then below that you see the circle icon pictures of users that are not currently talking or are actively communicating within the meeting itself. On the right-hand side, you will see 3 tabs up at the top, which is a phone, an IM icon, and then a roster icon. And what you can do is if you click on a specific icon, it will show that view on the right-hand side of the window. And then you can also collapse that right-hand side, that roster or the phone option or the IMs, so that your video experience expands to fit the entire window. And then you can also maximize that window to take up the entire screen real estate. Up top on the left-hand side, you will see the meeting name, the meeting duration, and your connectivity to the meeting, the strength of your connectivity. And you can easily switch between, if somebody is presenting within this meeting, by clicking on your picture down at the bottom or your video, depending if you're presenting video into the meeting. If you click on that, it'll switch from this gallery view, the group video calling view, to the presentation view. And it's very easy to just go back and forth by just clicking on that picture itself. So here's the experience when somebody is actually presenting a PowerPoint into the meeting. So you'll notice that the GVC, the group video calling, goes away because you're presenting something into the meeting, and it collapses down into active speaker mode. So you'll notice on the bottom right-hand part of the actual Skype for Business on Mac window, you will have your own video and then the active speaker within that meeting. And then to the left, down at the bottom, you have the remaining icons of the sitting row, similar to how you did in the group video calling view. And then up top, the entire top is taken up by the actual presentation itself. And again, you can maximize this to full screen to really have a great experience within that window itself. So here's the calling view within the client. So if you click on calls on the left-hand bar, you will notice that you see your call log history, you see your recent calls, your missed calls, and then you can also click on voicemail at the top to see your voicemails that you currently have within the middle pane. And then on the right-hand side is where you're going to have the dial pad to be able to make PSTN calls. So onto the contacts tab. So if you click on contacts on the left-hand side, you'll notice that in the middle pane, you have all of your contacts grouped currently by actual group that you have them organized into. We will release, these specifically are Skype for Business groups that you've created within the client. So group management, that will be a part of the CU1 update that will be coming out in November. And also another part of that release or that update will be the ability to be able to add distribution groups. So you'll have both of those options if you're running on Skype for Business Server 2015 on-prem CU4, or you're running on Skype for Business Online. It has yet to be backported to Link Server 2013. So up top, you can click in the search for contacts view or box and be able to search for different contacts within your organization, or search for distribution lists to be able to add them into your contacts list. And once you add contacts into the contact list or create new groups within the contact list, you can then go through and do things like rename those groups, and also manage those groups, deleting them or deleting contacts out of the group. You'll notice when you click on a contact itself, on the right-hand side of the screen, it brings up not only their picture, but then it brings up the ability to be able to do any of the modalities within Skype for Business client directly to that user. And then on the bottom half of the right-hand side will be all of that user's detailed information. And then the contact card itself. So you see the contact card when you go into contacts and select on the contact. But then also if you're in the chats view and you click on the circle picture icon of that user, it will also bring up a contact card, which gives you all of the options that you had within the contacts view. So the ability to be able to do multiple modalities with that user, and to be able to view that user's status as well as their detailed information. Now we're going to take a look at where you can find the feature breakdown list for the Skype for Business on Mac client, as well as the latest features that were released. Under this first section labeled Client Features, you'll find an aka.ms link that will take you out to the Skype for Business client comparison table. In this table, you'll find features broken down by modality for each of the Skype for Business clients, including the Skype for Business on Mac client. The second section, labeled Release Notes, will includes an aka.ms link that'll take you out to the Skype for Business on Mac cumulative update release page. This page is updated every time we release a new cumulative update for the Skype for Business on Mac client, and will give you details about previous releases of cumulative updates. And in these notes, you will find that we have the latest features, feature improvements, and then a list of any known issues that might be there in that specific version of the client. So let's go a little bit under the hood and some of the technical details of the Mac clients. So our supported platforms, we really recommend running Skype for Business Server 2015 with the latest cumulative update, or Skype for Business Online. These platforms, server platforms, are going to get you the maximum amount of features within the Skype for Business on Mac client. Because when a new feature goes in for Skype for Business Server 2015 or Skype for Business Online, it doesn't always get back ported to Link Server 2013. And even if it does, there is a time period to have that back porting done, and it will not be available as quickly as if you're running Skype for Business Server 2015 or Skype for Business Online. Now, we do technically support Link Server 2013 with the latest cumulative update. As stated in the previous slide, there are going to be some requirements for cumulative updates on the server side too, and we'll make sure that we actually call those out as we're going through these readiness programs. So supported desktops, we talked about this earlier, have to be running El Capitan or Sierra. Now let's take a look at some of the UCWA dependencies of various features based off of the Link or Skype for Business server version that you're currently running. So contact list and group management are currently not supported on Link Server 2013. This is something that is on our backlog and we are working to get released. These features currently are supported on both Skype for Business Server 2015 and Skype for Business Online. Server-side conversation history and auto accept, again, is not currently supported on Link Server 2013, but is supported on Skype for Business Server 2015 and Skype for Business Online. Delegate management and boss admin are currently not supported on Link Server 2013 as well as Skype for Business Server 2015. They are supported on Skype for Business Online as long as you have the latest Skype for Business on Mac cumulative update 5, which was released at the end of March 2017. Support for desktop application. This is the ability to not have a mobility policy in order for Skype for Business on Mac clients to log into your infrastructure. So this is currently supported on Link Server 2013 as long as you have CU8 Hotfix 1, which was released in November of 2016. It's supported on Skype for Business Server 2015 as long as you have Cumulative Update 4, which was released in November of 2016. And then it is supported in Skype for Business Online. E911 is supported on Link Server 2013 as long as you have Link Server 2013 CU8 Hotfix 2, which was released in December of 2016. It is supported on Skype for Business Server 2015, but requires Skype for Business Server 2015 Cumulative Update 4, which was released in November of 2016. And it is supported in Skype for Business Online. So signaling and media, these are giving you details about the way that we do our signaling and media within the Skype for Business on Mac client. So the Windows client and the Link for Mac client do all of their authentication through SIP, and then they use some pieces of web services to do various tasks within the client. Being that this client, the newest Skype for Business on Mac client, is a web-based client, it does everything over web services. So the signaling protocol is SIP over HTTPS, same as mobile clients. The signaling path, Here's where it differs a little bit from the mobile client, what I was talking about earlier. So if you're coming in from external, you're going to hit the reverse proxy, and then you're going to come into your Skype for Business environment. Now, if you're internal and you can resolve lyncdiscoverintemal.domain.com, you will, as long as you are returned the proper values from that link discover internal request, you will hit your front end servers directly. So you won't do what the mobile client does, which is hairpin out through the reverse proxy to come back in. So if you are able to resolve link discover internal, all your traffic will stay internal. The media path is similar to all other endpoints. It's ICE and looking for the optimal media path. Autodiscover itself, again, same as mobile clients. It's going to send out 4 requests. It's going to send out 2 Link Discover internal requests and 2 Link Discover requests, one of HTTPS and one of HTTP for each URL. And if it gets the internal request back, it will use internal. If not, it will then use Link Discover and come in through external. Exchange Web Services, this behaves the same way that mobile clients do also. It's going to send out requests to these known URLs for EWS to be able to get all of your Exchange information and connect directly to your Exchange environment. And here's what this looks like in real time. So here on the right-hand side of the screen, we have Jack at domain.com. He's an internal SFB for Mac user. He sends his 4 Autodiscover requests out. He gets a response back from internal DNS for lyncdiscoverintemal.domain.com, and that response returns the values of his web services to internal servers, and he connects directly to internal and goes to UCWA internally, and all the traffic is kept within the network itself. Now, if the user is internal, so Naya at domain.com is internal, but the customer doesn't have Link Discover internal set up in internal DNS, what will happen is we'll send out those 4 requests, and because Naya cannot resolve Link Discover internal, she will resolve lyncdiscover.domain.com, and that Link Discover request will return the external web services URLs that Naya needs to connect to. So what will happen with the traffic is we will then hairpin the traffic out through the firewall and come back in through the reverse proxy and get your Autodiscover and then get your UCWA connection. So that's the hairpinning, similar to the way mobile clients connect. And this is only if Link Discover internal is not available. And then lastly, we have just an external user. So Amber at domain.com is an external user connected from home or connected from a public Wi-Fi spot. She will do a Autodiscover lookup, and she's only going to be able to resolve lyncdiscover.domain.com. So she'll resolve that. She'll get the information back to connect to the reverse proxy, and then come over through to Autodiscover, and then eventually UCWA and connect in through that way. So the last section is on specific to troubleshooting. So within the Skype for Business on Mac client, we have various logs that can give us information on different parts of the product. These are all located in a path, which you will see in the next slide. But what we made, which is really cool and really easy, is if you open the Skype for Business for Mac client, reproduce your issue, and then go to Preferences, and then the General tab within the Skype for Business on Mac client itself, you'll see down at the bottom a Collect and Archive Logs button. And if you click on this button, what this button will do is it'll generate a zip file in your Downloads folder, which will contain all the pertinent logs that you may need to look through or to send to Microsoft or to have your IT troubleshoot. directly. So in this zip file, you will get a couple different logs. I'm just going to go into a brief detail about what these logs are. So the Skype for Business on Mac.log files are going to contain all of the SIP data for the current session. And that will also contain all your web services that connecting to Exchange and your Skype for Business web services. It'll contain all that information within that log. And then the skypeforbusiness.mac.old.log is going to contain all of that same information for the previous session. So in case, for whatever reason, you closed out the client and then opened it back up, but now you need the logs from that previous session, you can grab the Skype for Business Mac.old.log, which will have that information. The Skype for Business.blog files contain media stack information, and this information is encrypted, and it's really used for if Microsoft requests your media logs so that they can use some internal tools to decrypt and look at why you're having a specific media issues. And then last, you have a system_profile.log. This contains all the information about the system itself. So the hardware, the system resources, the devices, the OS version. This is very helpful when either Microsoft or IT is troubleshooting, that they can go through and see exactly what the user had set up on their system at the time that they ran into this issue. So this slide shows you the direct paths to all of these logs. The easier way is to be able to collect the logs from the Collect Logs button. But if you ever need to remove the logs and start over from scratch, you can go to these paths to be able to do exactly that. So doing a full capture, if you are required to get not only the Skype for Business logs, but then also the system logs and the network logs themselves. Here are a few steps that you can follow to grab all of those logs. So close out of the client and remove the cache that we used in the previous slide. Then you start a capture with sudo tcp dump. You clear your DNS cache, you clear your CRL cache, and then you reproduce the issue. And then once that issue is reproduced, you then stop the capture that the network capture that you were doing earlier by hitting Control C, and then you run the system profiler from the command line with this syntax, and then you collect all of those files and provide them to whoever, either Microsoft that would be troubleshooting or IT folks that would be troubleshooting. And this shows you the path to each of those logs. So Fiddler, what you can use Fiddler for is to capture all the HTTPS traffic that actually comes for the Skype for Business on Mac client. So what you could do is you can enable Fiddler on a PC and let remote users connect into that. So if you really want to troubleshoot to see exactly what HTTPS is returning, you can use this method. You will see HTTPS requests within the client itself, but within the client Skype for Business logs, but this will get you more detailed HTTPS information that comes from the Skype for Business on Mac client. So you install the Fiddler root CA on the Mac by accessing the IP address and port below, and then you configure your network proxy settings on the Mac in the advanced network settings to be able to connect over to that Fiddler instance. And here are screenshots of us doing all of that. So on the right-hand side, you have the Fiddler options with the trusted certs, and then on the left-hand side, you have the actual proxy configuration within Mac itself. So SIP traffic, you can debug this using the Snooper tool. We're working on currently getting the latest Snooper tool out publicly available so that you can just take these Skype for Business Mac.log files and drag them directly in to be able to use Snooper in the way you would troubleshoot SIP logs. And here's what that would look like. The SIP traffic, if you click on it within Snooper, it actually groups the different sessions together, the related traffic together, so that when you click on one, it highlights all the other ones that are related to that call. So it makes it really easy to troubleshoot this specific call flow within that call itself. So additional resources, we have some links here for the latest Skype for Business on Mac information. So that was the blog that we discussed earlier. You have the additional trainings, which are up on skypeoperationsframework.com/academy. You have the Skype preview community, which is a collection of different communities within this site to be able to discuss various information about various products that are currently in preview. And then you have the client core deck, which has an aka.ms link below. And then lastly, you have Edge Media delivered by Thomas Binder, which goes into that 400 level detail that I discussed earlier. And then also, I just wanted to mention that the Insider program, or what some users know as the TAP slash preview programs, are still going on for the Skype for Business on Mac client. It behaves a little differently. So the way that you did it previously is you went up to skypepreview.com and you signed up and you were given a build through the portal and you downloaded that build and installed it. And submitted bugs that way. The way that it's done now that the client has been released to GA is you go out and use the normal production download of the Skype for Business for Mac client. You do the install, and after you're done the install, your update window is going to come up. And if it doesn't, you can go to Help, check for updates, and you will see an option underneath your installation preferences that says participate in the Office Insider program. If you select on that, you'll be given two options. You'll be given on an option for Insider Fast and Insider Slow. And the difference there is Insider Fast is going to get more builds quickly, a lot more quickly than Insider Slow, but they are going to be more unstable builds because you're getting them the quicker. So they're the latest feature sets that we need customers to validate. And then if you want to still get the pre-release features, but then also have a more stable build, then you're going to want to select on the Insider Slow. So that's your choice, and you can go back and forth between different pre-release versus production on different machines. We really don't recommend switching between back and forth all the time, but if you are on the production client and you want to switch to Insider, that's not an issue. And then when you're participating in those Insider programs, you're able to submit bugs directly into Microsoft, and they're taken directly to the engineering team to action upon to resolve an issue or to look at some feedback. So I want to thank you for taking the time to view this readiness session. I hope it was very informative for you, and I look forward to updating these as we release future changes or cumulative updates. Thanks again.